Okay, so now we're going to talk about space stations and space shuttles and probes and satellites um, and then hopefully you'll get a better understanding of the different types of technology that we have that we use to explore space. So, space stations. A space station is an orbiting manned structure that can be used for a variety of purposes. So in our case, we have the International Space Station. So this International Space Station is used to help us explore certain things in space. Now, this is where most of our astronauts hang out while they're in space, but we use it to help us, like some services that we use it for is to fix satellites, refuel other spacecrafts. This is where most of the time, our payload from our rockets gets distributed, or where we can collect items. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but this gentleman here who's floating, and it looks like he's attached to this arm. So that's the Canada arm, and we Canadians actually invented this technology. We're going to talk about it at some point again, but I just wanted to make you aware of that. So it is attached to the International Space Station. So what are space shuttles then? So a space shuttle is a reusable device, so we can reuse it. That could be launched into orbit like a rocket and then land on Earth like it's a plane. So what it does is it carries also a payload, version of a payload. So it can carry anything from satellites, experiments, stations, supplies, people, right? So it could carry people. So this is where we would carry certain things up into space, drop them off, or whether it's at the International Space Station or have it orbit in space, and then it comes back to Earth and we can reuse this space shuttle. Okay. Now, we are familiar with two past disasters. One was called the Challenger disaster. This was of January 28th in 1986. So it was a space shuttle. It actually exploded 73 seconds after liftoff, so it wasn't in the air for very long, and unfortunately 7 crew members were killed. And then eventually we tried to fix our technology, make things better. And on February 1st in 2003, the space shuttle Columbia broke up when it re-entered the atmosphere after completing its mission in space. So it actually left successfully, it came back and didn't enter successfully. And unfortunately, 7 astronauts were killed as well. So these are two of the more bigger space shuttle catastrophes that I wanted to share with you. So now we're going to talk about two different types of remote sensing technologies. So we have satellites and space probes. And what is a remote sensing technology? It basically refers to the activity of recording, so that's the sensing part. So we record, observe, or perceive an object or event far away, which is what remote means, in faraway places. So this is technology that we use to see things from far away. So satellites are one type of things that we use. So a satellite is anything that is in orbit. Okay, so anything that orbits is considered a satellite. A natural satellite would be considered a moon because a moon is in orbit. An artificial satellite would be the International Space Station because it just orbits, as well as the Hubble telescope. And I have talked about the Hubble telescope in topic 1. A space probe, also a remote sensing technology, is an unmanned exploratory spacecraft used to explore a part of body of matter in space. So it's used to explore some sort of body of matter in space. And this is how we get a lot of our images of certain planets. So what I'd like you guys to do is just to get a better idea. I'm going to upload these videos so you guys can watch them, one for each type of technology related to space travel. And then there's a worksheet that will be attached to your Google Classroom that I'd like you to complete.